share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show, it's a movement.
When they are standing, we need to stand out.
From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in the individual fields.
You have to have a vision.
You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real.
Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
Tuesday, 29th July 2025 it is, and we're just 3 days away from Africa Nations Championship, or famously known as CHAN, right here in Nairobi, Tanzania, and also Uganda, as we are hosting it. And that is the discussion that we will be discussing today, away from the politics aside, but let's all come together for this continental showpiece. It's the first biggest continental football tournament in Kenya. We've held a Sakafa, we've had a number of tournaments, but this is the biggest, and the impact is also as big. I know my colleague Daniel Wahome did quite a good job yesterday in regards to that, but we want to know the impact on Kenya's economy and what comes with it, and that is a live discussion that we would like to be having this first hour. On the second hour, we will be talking about matters health. We will be having an interview with Dr. Ouma Oluga, who is the PS Medical Services, on all what is surrounding a number of issues in the health docket. But for this one full hour, we've dedicated it to CHAN. Something else also worth noting is that KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, will be airing these matches live from Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda as well. And also, you can be part of this candid conversation. I have two very simple questions. How many times, the first one being, how many times has Kenya played in the Africa Nations Championship? How many times has Kenya played at CHAN before this year's tournament? Because we will be interact with us on our social media spaces as we are live. And also, I would also like to know how many teams will be participating in the Africa Nations Championship this year. How many teams will be participating in this year's showpiece? Remember, we are live from the broadcasting house and also on our social media spaces, including our KBC digital app. So first things first, allow me to rope in my panel of experts. Beginning from my immediate left, we have Honorable Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is the head of Service Delivery Unit at Nairobi County Government. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And next to him, we have our very own Daniel Wahome from the KBC Sports Desk, who has covered a number of sporting events. And just before this interview, we were just kind of trying to look at how many continental events have we had. Wahome, there's something that very, very crucial you mentioned in regards to the magnitude of CHAN for the first time, not only in Kenya, but in East Africa.
Actually, if you were to look at the Sekafa region, this is the second time that the Sekafa region is hosting CHAN. Rwanda has hosted it before. So, and because the way football is grouped in Africa, you have got the Northern Zone, you have got with the West Africa, which has got two zones. It's known as WAFU A, WAFU B. You've got what they call the Central Zone, the areas around Gabon, Cameroon, the Central African Republic. So there are those countries around that place. And then you've got Sekafa, which is now the Eastern, they call it Central East. And then you've got Kosafa, which is the southern part. So Rwanda hosted CHAN before, I think 2015, if I'm looking at it, but 2015 or 2017. Yeah. So, but for the East African region, these three countries, it's the first time that we are hosting this. Kenya has hosted the fourth All Africa Games. That was way back in 1987. It was the biggest tournament that Kenya had hosted. And if you go to a Kasarani and there's a place known as the Stadion Hotel, that is where all athletes were accommodated. It was the athletes' village. And you can see it's revived. Those are some of the, how you capitalize on that. Now it's a conferencing facility that is huge. 2002, Kenya hosted the Africa Military Games. That was a big event. It was actually, all these events I'm mentioning were live on KBC. We can move on to the next one, which Kenya hosted, was the Senior African Athletics Championships, Nairobi 2010. After that, Kenya hosted the Under-18 Athletics Championships in 2017, 2021, the World Under-20 Championships. When it comes to football, this is the biggest. Kenya has finally cracked it after failing to do so in 1996, 2014, and 2018. 96 was the AFCON. It went to South Africa. 2014, 2018 was CHAN. But that has changed now, and there is now what we can say is a big opportunity for Kenya to showcase that organization-wise, we can do it and deliver and take all the doubts that CAF has had over 30 years on this country.
And it's a big privilege for Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and Kenya to be specific, because the finals will be held right here in Kasarani. But let me pick Mheshimiwa in regards to where does Nairobi County come in, and what are some of the preparations that, as Nairobi County, indeed Kenya is hosting, but Nairobi County is also hosting as well?
Well, allow me to tell Kenyans and everybody that is watching us that Nairobi is playing a very important role. For example, yesterday we went around a number of establishments, that is hotels and other places of accommodation, and a very big team in collaboration with the Minister of Health, just to make sure that the visitors who come to this country will be accommodated, fed, and taken around the city without hitch. At the national park, Nairobi National Park, the doors will be open to the visitors, and if you drove today, this morning, or thereafter, you'll find places that you could find some potholes. There are no potholes. We've made sure I should even have unforeseen rains. The drainage system is up to date, and because we do not want to shame our nation, because yes, it's Kenya hosting, but bottom line is Nairobi. So we are involved 100%. As I've told you, yesterday we went to a number of facilities to make sure that they are suitable to accommodate the visitors.
Of course, you'll be telling us a lot, because also in matters governance, because I'm quite sure CAF would not have allowed us to host this if we just continued with the demonstrations that were there. But Wahome, from where you sit, the last time I remember we had a conversation in studio. You were actually in Naivasha for the Safari Rally. How big is it, and especially for the Kenyan media, and how, as Kenyans, can we reorganize ourselves so that this event can be the most successful, because it's the biggest that Kenya has hosted?
Oh, this is one, and one of the things that you've got to understand is that when it comes to this level of competition, for example, I will give an example. It's a CAF event. So CAF is doing a lot of communications. If you look at their portals and their socials right now, they're pushing a lot of information about this. Ticketing, there was a video released yesterday, CAF President Patrice Motsepe now saying tickets are open, and that's across East Africa. So that is one thing. From the media perspective, it is how you tell the story. There is the story of the game, there is the story of the fans, and there is the story of the host city. Because this is, and the reason why we are looking, if I take away, the game comes naturally for any journalist to report on what happens, the press conferences, the trainings. But what about the story of the fans and the host city? This is where it becomes interesting. Because when I look at a fan, I see two people. And it's very unusual, and I know Muhesh it's something that is very big on him. Kasarani has got a capacity of 48,000. That is what has been said by CAF. Now, 48,000, if you look at the population of Nairobi, is 4.8 million or something. So we are talking about 1% of Nairobi. That means the rest of the people will be at fun parks and watching KBC. They'll be watching TV and the fun parks and outside there. So it's the cultural experience for those people who don't get tickets that you've got to give. And that's one side of a story that has got to be told. What is happening in between the match days? I'll give an example. Nairobi will host matches on Sunday. 2 matches, one at Kasarani, one at Nyayo. The next matches will be played on Thursday. So what do you do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? For people who have come in to watch this, you've got to give them a cultural experience. And that is the biggest selling point for any of these tournaments. I have seen what Naivasha has done. Kenya Tourism Board ferried in rally mad funds from Uganda. They took over that town and you could tell there's a difference in a particular corner. Whether it was Soy Sambu, Elementaita, wherever, or even Hell's Gate. You could tell there was a difference at that corner. When you've got these people who come in to enjoy the hospitality and what the country has got to offer. So if you take off the perspective from the 1% who are in the stadium, think of these other people who are in this city. So that is the experience, and that's where you can really sell. Because looking at the whole economy of that stadium, it belongs to CAF. So even if you're going to do vending, it's predetermined by CAF. They decide if you're a partner, then you can vend. For the people who will be outside the stadium, it will have to be quite some distance, and the things they can sell, probably flags, the wristbands, little things, because they won't allow food inside. That I can tell, I can disappoint Kenyans, but it's the way it works.
No foods, no drinks.
No foods, no drinks. Because are you a CAF partner? So the vending will have to be done inside. So all of these experiences are usually put away from a stadium. You know, unlike rallying, where you want, I mean, you're inside there and you're doing you can watch the cars. Football is restricted to the stadium. So it is this fun parks, the green spaces that Nairobi has. It's where the experience for everybody should be. And that is where you can now benefit from this and the people who are coming in. Kenya is hosting Zambia, Angola, DR Congo, and Morocco. I can tell you straightforward, we have got a very big DR Congo population in Kenya. Zambia, Angola, Morocco, people through business and diplomatic ties are here. And I can tell you they will be in the stadium. But there are others who want to enjoy with you. So what kind of experience do you give to them? And that is the real story, and that's where the full economy can be capitalized. Kenya has got what, you know, the one thing they are trying to break away from and try to use other means for tourism is known as the bush. Now, Nairobi offers the bush. The Nairobi National Park is there. We've got the Arboretum, we've got Karura. So there is, I mean, we've got
City Park.
City Park, we've got the Ngong Hills. So all around, within one of Nairobi, there's so much green spaces that you can make use of and do the bush experience for all of these people. I've spoken with some people from Nigeria, wherever they are coming. They say, we want to see a lion.
They want to see a lion.
I mean, that's very easy.
I'm quite sure, Mwesh, there are other plans that you also made, especially when it comes to security, because Wahome will bear me witness that we have seen incidents, especially when AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia are playing. We've seen incidents of hooliganism. How is Nairobi as a city ready in terms of making security and also ensuring that there will be no hooliganism that we've witnessed in some of the local matches here in Kenya?
You know, it is natural that when you have visitors, you always give your best behavior. Even the ones that are used to hooliganism, and for this reason, it's not a local match. All of us are pulling together. When it is Kenya playing against another one, we are all together supporting them, and it's our culture, and this needs to go out there. That Kenyans, we have culture that even a thief will never come out when we have visitors. So visitors, you should expect peaceful stay in this city, and our inspectorate team together with the National Police Service, we have made sure that even Uhuru Park, like the time that we don't have matches, and those players from other and officials from across the world, across Africa, you know, because you also expect some people from other parts of the world. It's not, remember, it's not just an African affair. Simply because we are having football as Africans, remember there are also people who are coming to scout for talents so that they can pick on this and that and recruit them in their teams in other parts of the world. So in your free time, we've made sure that going to Uhuru Park, you find a Uhuru Park that is clean and receptive and will meet the standards that you expect across the world. You go to Central Park, and as you said, you have told us that a friend of yours from Nigeria is looking forward to seeing a lion. I'm telling you, in fact, in my opening remarks, I said the gates will be open and ready anytime, especially when you are free, you can go to In Nairobi National Park, you see the lion, the king of Jago. There are many of them. And any other thing in terms of security, we are up to date. Yes.
Yeah, because you'll be leaving us in a couple of minutes. I would like to pick your mind in regards to how you've seen the preparations that we have made as a country. And again, bearing in mind that the finals will be played right here in Kenya. So we expect an unprecedented number of fans here in Kenya, and especially for the final game.
Well, it's very interesting because organization-wise, the LOC chair has been general coordinator, that is Nicholas Musonye. He's been general coordinator for 7 Africa Cup of Nations, 3 CHANs. He has been involved in the FIFA World Cup 3 times. The under-20, age grade World Cups, which Kenya and Egypt and Nigeria hosted. So he's got that experience. So organization-wise, there is a manual and every box has been ticked. Now, when it comes to all of these organizations, at the end of the day, I think the face of Kenya will be safety and security. And so that is, the CAF have got their own safety and security officers. There will be there's a multi-agency task force working around security. So, and we also have got the stewards, and also the National Police Service and others who are there. And you see, for Kenya's capacity, in terms of running a football event of this magnitude or an event of this magnitude, there is a lot of knowledge. I can say that Kenya and Ghana provided police officers to work in Qatar 2022 during the World Cup.
Yeah.
So there is a standard that FIFA wants at a match training venue, the hotel, and also a team training venue, the hotel, and a match. So all that, the entire football ecosystem is well taken care of. So that's one thing organization-wise that we have done. And there is a lot of knowledge because some of the people who are working here, I have seen them work in other CAF events. They are media officers, safety and security officers, general coordinators, and people who also do logistics around it. And so that comes in very handy when it comes to the preparations. And at the end of the day, it is ticking that box every day. Not because Kenya versus DRC on Sunday at 3 p.m. has gone well, then you take it for granted that Kenya-Morocco on Thursday at 7 p.m. that, you can relax on it. There is no room for that because the safety manual, remember, CHAN is a proper test for the AFCON 2027. And so the knowledge gained is what should be sustained, and also when it comes to preparation and being very well organized, like Mheshimiwa has said, we are very good at when there are visitors around. Think even when the visitors go, tusahau hiyo kitu ya kusema vikombe ya wageni. We need to keep it straight. So that's the biggest thing. And like I've mentioned, the opportunities are in our green spaces because the stadium, like I mentioned, Nyayo is holding only 18,000 people. So, but outside of that, there is a lot that we can do. And maybe even as I depart, I will remind people, CHAN, iko KBC. So if you don't get a ticket, you know where to watch.
Indeed. And allow me to just beef up what you're saying is that we are also beaming this on our radio stations. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of those radio commentators.
Okay, can I tease you on this one?
Yes.
Troy, you're going to be doing it in Kiembu.
Yes.
Just give us a minute of that as I leave so that we can have a laugh.
Yeah. That's a big challenge. I wasn't ready, but I think I can try. I need to get here and even the team yetu ya Harambee Stars manenda kuingia kiwanjani na timu ya DR Congo kana timu ya Harambee Stars ni vikavinda kake kambere gukora kithaka mvita vitano eno haya muvira turawambiririe kivaro gatagate. Okay, all right.
I like that.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I've ever been given. But remember, I will be at Ngemi FM, and of course, Wahome and the sports desk will also be making sure that we are also successful in the radio as well. Wahome, thank you so much. I had so many questions for you, but thank you indeed so much for making time. I'm hoping that we will be joined by Brian Wesala, who is the founder and CEO of Football for Africa, to just give us more in regards to that. But we will continue with Mwesh unless you have something to say as you wrap up.
It's now CHAN iko KBC.
CHAN iko KBC.
That's the story.
Yes. And it's a good thing Wahome has mentioned that it's a dress rehearsal for 2027. And just before you go, you do remember that it was pushed to August. It was supposed to be in February. Because maybe, let's be very honest, we weren't quite ready. is this a dress rehearsal for 2027? And we will be ready. We're just having 19 teams. AFCON will be having many, many teams.
Yes. Nairobi is interesting. We already have, Nairobi will have 3 stadiums. I think the only, I think the 2019 AFCON that was in Egypt, Cairo was operating with 4 stadia. Then all the other matches were in Ismailia and Alexandria. So everything was, you see, that northeastern part of Egypt did that. So Nairobi, we have 3 stadium. That's 3 stadia. That means we can comfortably host 2 groups comfortably for 2027.
Thank you so much, Daniel Wahome from our KBC Sports Desk there, just giving us just an insight on the impact of CHAN, especially for Kenya, economy, culture, and also on talent search. Mheshimiwa, allow me to continue with this conversation in regards to how traffic will be managed. We are looking at Kasarani and Thika Road, and we know every time that we have a match in Kasarani, Harambee Stars with another team, we usually have a huge traffic. And I remember being told that all vehicles will be parked about a kilometer away from the stadium.
Well, you've said that all vehicles will be parked kilometers away from stadium. That is one of the strategies that we are going to use to make sure that we manage traffic around the stadium, so that even after and before, we are not going to experience some cock-ups and compromise the security of the players, the security of the people who are going to be supporting the foreigners and any other person. So there will be strict rules on that during that time, so that we make sure that there are not gaps, and making sure that we do not put lives and properties at risk. Yes.
And Mheshimiwa, you're also a governance expert, and as I had mentioned earlier, if at all we had those demonstrations, CAF wouldn't have allowed us to host CHAN. How has this calmness that we are enjoying right now been, let's say, the shining beacon in regards to us hosting this continental showpiece?
Well, you see, we are hosting together with our neighbors Uganda and Tanzania. So for some reason, if we never had the peace that we have now, maybe they would have considered giving it another neighbor of ours, and would have lost, huge, benefits. One of the benefits is even our name as a country, and our capacity and our culture of reasoning. And it's good that out there that people need to know that we have a culture of going back to the drawing board, and we check where the rain started beating us, and we reason together. We have reasoned together, and there will not be maandamanos. And if we had those demonstrations, we would have lost a lot. In where I sit, I would wish we had such occasions like this one that makes us become one and forget our differences, because all of us, we are looking forward to Sunday 3rd, and all of us as Kenyans cheer our young ones and our team, because we are not expecting anything short of a clean win. We are the host, and we have the advantage of the knowledge of our stadiums. We also have the advantage of big crowds who will be cheering. So we are not expecting anything short of win on Sunday. And all of us, there will be there will be no issue like you belong to this side of politics, or this side of the government, or this side of the region, this region from this country. All of us will be one. And if there is anything that unites us, is football or athletics. We have seen in the past when we celebrate. And for that reason, I implore all Nairobians and all Kenyans to hold our peace and be civil while the visitor is around. But that doesn't mean after the visitor goes back, we go back to our bad manners. This should serve us to help us. We go back to factory setting, and they go back to factory setting, and we come back as good Kenyans, and Kenyans for Kenyans, and not Kenyans against Kenyans. And I would wish to state this, that as I said before, all systems are set to make sure that anybody, whether, because it's not only that we foreigners that we are expecting.
Yes.
You will find people who travel from up country to come and live with their loved ones or seek accommodation so that they can be around where the activity is. So we are expecting big numbers in the city because, you know, during the day we are like 6 million. And now we are having other nationals coming to this nation, and people will travel, as I've said, from up country to be here. So we are expecting to, you know, a population of about 8 million, and we are up to the task.
Yes, and talking about 8 million, how is Nairobi County government leveraging on Chan to boost the local economy, and more specifically to small scale or MSMEs?
In fact, at advanced stage, probably it will be done by tomorrow or Thursday, that we'll announce to the public that we are going to have a 24-hour economy in the CBD.
Okay.
In the CBD, that anybody from any time they can walk to CBD, probably to do shopping, clothing, food, and the like. We have encouraged our people, and more so the restaurants that we have in the city, big or small, even 5-star hotels, to make sure that they have. They can manage diversity of different African cuisines, including foreign cuisines, so that nobody comes to this city and misses something that they wish they would have gotten in this city. Yes.
And I'm also looking at beyond the football venues, because we know very well that Kasarani looks awesome. Nyayo is also ready just in case something happens. But beyond the venues, what improvements have been made to Nairobi general urban infrastructure? I'm looking at road networks. I'm also looking at public spaces. I'm also looking at our sanitation, the many toilets that we have in the CBD. I'm also looking at accommodations.
Well, as I told you, yesterday we went around assessing preparedness of facilities like hotels. In fact, we were assessing the 5-star hotels, and there are some of them we say they are not fit to accommodate even dignitaries during that time. So the assessment was not just a simple one, it's so extremely tedious. And we were paying attention to details. And that one is done. If you went today, as I told you, if you, after this show, after your session today, if you drove, you find the roads are no potholes. I say that. If you went around, for example, if you walked with me across Jivaji Garden, the ablution block that we have there are 2 ablution blocks that we have there. They have running water. Why do we have to make sure that they are clean? And this, we are not doing it now. They are always had running water, but of course we have to make sure that the systems will not collapse when we have a big population. So we've made contingency plans, even where we may have a problem of water, for example. We have the water boosters on standby, because we have a sufficient number of water boosters from Nairobi County that are owned by Nairobi County to supply in case there are some challenges of water supply. And we've made sure that the staff working on that, on those facilities are well trained and prepared to host, now that we will be even having people who don't even speak English, maybe French, and others Lingala and so on, and Swahili that is not our local Swahili here. So we have put in place systems, and I will tell you, you will call us here to after the end of this tournament, you will call us here and tell us kudos, because we have done as the expectation.
We hope we're going to be calling you again to say kudos, because remember, this is a dress rehearsal for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be even a bigger, but this is a litmus test. I'm also looking at something that we mentioned, and also Ahome did mention, and that's why I'm asking this question. What specific initiatives is Nairobi undertaking to showcase its cultural attractions? Just like we mentioned, there's Bomas Museum, Arboretum, there's Uhuru Park, which you say now looks like 1,000 shillings, you know? So clean, no garbage, the lavatories there do the parking slots. Tell us how you've prepared for making sure that even other things, we marketed other things.
Let us start with the Uhuru Park. I happen to go to Uhuru Park every day. Every day I go to Uhuru Park. And why do I go to Uhuru Park? First of all, it's very therapeutic. It gives me therapy, walking around, and sometimes, you know, you only know the difference of something if you had experienced that thing in another state. This is not the Uhuru Park of 90s, the 2000s, early 2000. This is a different Uhuru Park, well manicured, you know, very nice walkways. Walkways that you can even walk barefooted. There are people there making sure mainly after Sunday and Saturday, when we have huge crowds that come to spend time there with their families. On Monday we start the process of cleaning, and we do not just clean the way we used to do. In fact, some of our officers they move around with the magnet. Do you know the power, the need or the importance of a magnet? Just to pick some metals so that should somebody come and they decide to walk barefooted on the grass, they are sure that the grass doesn't have things that can spike them, because we have used all sophisticated ways of making sure that it's clean. That is Uhuru Park. And if you went now, you'll find a Uhuru Park. If you have not been there for many days,
I don't know the last time
you went
to
Uhuru Park when you used to go there
actually before the
renovation. Before the renovation. And let me disabuse something here. There's something I may need to disabuse, because there are people who have been saying that we charge. We don't charge. Uhuru Park is free of charge. The only thing that we require for anybody going to Uhuru Park is to be a good citizen with good intentions, but not with the intentions of going there to pickpocket and to steal from good people.
And you've gotten rid of all those people, because Uhuru Park sometimes you cannot.
This is not the Uhuru Park that people would go and sleep carelessly and do things that they would wish. This is a clean Uhuru Park, and as I've told you, even the water we have there, the water which provides some you know, boats there for young ones to enjoy. You know, there even are old people who have never gotten to water with a small boat or something. The waters are clean. They are cleaned every now and then. And let's move from water and talk about security of the parks. We have officers who are manning that park 24/7. Access is controlled. Controlling access does not mean that you have to pay to get inside, but we control access to make sure that inside the park is only good people who are inside the park. But should you think that there is no eye that is looking at you, we will pick you, and appropriate action is going to be taken against you. And you move to Central Park, equally good. You move to City Park. People may wish to visit City Park, where they'll see some monkeys, and they see, some people see all the graveyards of their relatives from across the world. So City Park is equally ready to accommodate anybody. And then you go obviously, Arboretum at its best all the times is clean, security well organized. So I do not expect any bad report thereafter.
It's a good thing that you've mentioned all this, including the likes of Bomas, Museum, Arboretum. They are looking international standards.
Bomas is under construction.
Oh yes, Bomas, there's a lot of work. Some renovations.
Not really, I would say improvement. Because it's going to be world class. Although there are some naysayers who just wanted to oppose good stuff, and they can keep on doing that because you don't expect, even when you are doing well. In fact, even when you did well, people would say it's other powers which has made you become well. But we expect those things, and we just ignore them and move on.
It's a good thing that you've mentioned there has been a controversy surrounding Bomas, but for avoidance of doubt, is it being undertaken by the county government or the national government?
It is under the national government. Okay. But let me tell you where we come in. You know, people need to know where for example, if something of big magnitude was happening at State House, for example, constructing a big structure, approvals come from Nairobi City County. So even in we are involved in the way of approving. Because any construction that is happening in Bomas of Kenya, we are involved in that way of approving. Construction thereafter and supervision to some extent, it is under the national government. However, the officers from Nairobi City County Planning Department, at the right time, they would walk in and see whether what is happening on the ground is what is supposed to be happening.
Now that we'll be discussing matters, controversies surrounding some of the things and clearing the air, there were some cottages that were being built in Ngong Forest. Did Nairobi City Council or Nairobi City County issue approvals?
No. Okay. One of the reason they stopped because we were not involved, and sometimes they are rogue people. Use, for example, now that you are hosting here in KBC, you could be having a sibling somewhere, and the fact that you work for KBC and is a national broadcaster, you could find that one of your siblings harassing people and telling them, you are not going to watch this TV because my brother is the one who is such. I'm trying to use that one to explain something. Sometimes there are things that happen in government and you find people dropping names of big people, and if you go and talk to the big people, they are not aware, because the person, I think we need to develop a culture. If I came to you and told you I'm sent by a big man, you, before implementing what I'm asking you to do, you need to be firm enough to tell me that I'm going to confirm from that big man, because if there is a big man in this nation, he's a big man for all of us. So if he's your big man, he's also my big man. If you can access the big man, I can also access the big man, whichever way. I'll call him and ask him whether what you are telling us to do here in Ngong Forest, whether it came from him. And the reason it stopped completely, because there were some lazy bones, just funny characters who are dropping big names to do some their private business.
All right, it's a good thing that the head, if you just joined us, speaking to the head of service delivery unit at the Nairobi County Government, and we are looking at, away from the stadium, everything else, the impact of CHAN on the Kenya economy, culture, and infrastructure as well. It's a good thing that he has confirmed. You do remember there were some cottages that were being built in that Ngong Forest, and he has confirmed indeed that Nairobi City County had nothing to do with them, including in matters approvals. And of course, now that CAF has chipped in with some money in regards to the renovations and ABCD, where have you as Nairobi County chipped in terms of resources?
Very good question. In fact, this show will be immature if we do not mention the most critical places.
Yes.
You know, while we are in Nairobi, change of climate, change of weather comes with the different challenges, and that calls for medical attention. Our medical facilities are up to standard. For example, if one of the players or, you know, supporters, spectators or so on, or sponsors, if they travel to Kenya, and I need to say this plainly, they travel to Kenya, and God controls timing and happenings, and then you have come with your spouse or your friend, or somebody has just decided to come to watch football. You know, sometimes the ladies will tell you when they are expectant, the child they are carrying would tell them to sometimes eat stone, and that child could tell the mother it's time to go and watch football. So while in Kenya, should you experience labor pains or you want to medical attention, we have Pumwani, which meets international standards. Mama Lucy, we have Mutwini. So feel free. And any injuries.
Some of these hospitals that you're mentioning, in as much as Kenyans would like to exude confidence in how they have been run and how the capacity that they have, remember, just that you could say, like you said, we're expecting about 8 million people. Our facilities ready? And are they equipped fully to capacity to ensure that they can be able to attend to an emergency?
The 8 million is a general population.
Yes.
We are, from 8 million, talk of 10%, which is 800,000. Our facilities, you see the problem, even Jesus himself, I don't know whether you are allowed to quote Bible here, but whatever the case, allow me to be myself. Then KBC can go back to his culture. You see, Jesus himself said, even a prophet is not respected at his backyard. So the problem now, I'm here trying to convince Kenyans that Pumwani, Mutuini, and other hospitals in Mama Lucy and Bagadi, world-class hospital, that they are up to the task. Kenyans, I don't need to convince you. These hospitals are up to the task to accommodate, to treat, and to attend to the 10% that would be having a challenge out of the 8 million. We have proper medical supply. The equipment.
The ambulance are also working.
We have, in fact, we have a huge number of ambulances. I don't even think that there is any city in East Africa that has the number of ambulances, and we have a command center for people who need to know. Maybe you called and you want to rush there. It's at Lady North. Lady North is across State House Road. If you went there, ambulance is there. It's separate, so you can any time you ask for ambulance services, we take shortest time to respond, because we are not constrained or restricted in the CBD.
Yeah. And from what I've heard you talk about in regards to how we are prepared, it seems that everything is, we are set to go. What are some of the challenges that you guys are anticipating, and also some of the challenges that you have had to overcome as you have been preparing for this tournament?
You know, some of the challenges is that, which is not, special to Kenya. It's not that it's only to Kenyans. Across the world, people take advantage of big crowds. People take advantage of newcomers. People take advantage of foreigners. So we are making sure that the streets of the city, the street families, they are not disrupting. And it's all the problems and challenges we experience in Nairobi is not just from the street families. You even find big people, well polished. You think from the eye, you think they are well polished and well intended. So even that one, we have a capacity to assess and read their motive. And having done that, and we have done some dry runs in the past, just walking around the CBD and just picking at random on people, especially black spots, and on people who could be problematic. And our assessment has given us positive results in the manner that where we suspected the people, subjecting them to thorough assessment and investigation, we found that our suspicion was correct. So having now coming from point of experience, then I do not expect that the challenges, yes, the challenges are there. We are not saying that the challenges are not there. The challenges are there, but we are equal to the task. We'll be able to handle them with a very little negative results.
Yeah, and also culture is a good thing to exchange during this CHAN. How are we prepared, and especially in Nairobi, in matters to just showcase culture? We've seen when guests arrive at the airport, we're there with our dancers, sometimes in our functions here. How is Nairobi prepared to not only welcome guests, they can have a feel of our culture? And also, don't you think this is the best time to maybe lower some of the rates that we have in some of these places, museum, somebody to go Nairobi National Park? It's the best time to bring the rates down, especially for Kenyans.
Well, there are things that in Nairobi have jurisdiction. Others, we don't have the jurisdiction. Like, yes, Nairobi National Park is within Nairobi City County, but the management and the running of the same is not under Nairobi County. So that is a national government. Again, yes, CHAN is being held in Nairobi, but it's not a Nairobi affair per se. Okay? But just like
it's a Kenyan affair.
It's a Kenyan affair, the Kenyan government, just our business is to clean the venue. cleaning the venue includes provision of basic services like water, road network, street lighting, and making sure that we do not have the streets are safe by making sure that we do not have opportunistic thieves, something like that. Not just mentioning the street, not only saying that street families, but even those opportunistic people. So that is our business. Other than that, this is a national affair. And I know Kenyan government has involved Nairobi County at different levels, and all the sectors have been were involved, like for example environment, because of City Park, Arboretum, Uhuru Park, and then roads and public works, health. I told you yesterday that public health officers sanctioned or requested by Minister of Health at national level. We assessed a number of sub-facilities and to establish their readiness to host dignitaries or anybody during this event. Yeah.
And just in case you joined us, this is KBC News Tech, and today we have decided to part from our usual politics and just to talk about something that is bringing Kenya together and also the rest of Africa. There's the African Nations Championship that will be hosted, co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, kicking off this Saturday with Kenya expected to play DR Congo for their first match. And just in case you didn't join us when we begin, Honorable Peter Mutuku-Mutua, he's the head of Service Delivery Unit at Nairobi County Government. And early on, we had our very own Daniel Wahome just giving us an insight from the other side, outside the stadium. And when we began, I asked two very simple questions. If you remember, how many times has Kenya played at the CHAN Championship that will be aired from this Saturday? How many times has Kenya played the CHAN? How many teams also will be participating in this year's competition? How many teams will be participating in this year's tournament? Remember, we are live on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on X. We are on X, not Twitter. And of course, we are also live on a KBC digital app. And because time is running, beyond the immediate benefits, what long-term legacy and benefits are we going to reap, especially Nairobi?
First of all, you know, we have the stadia. They have been improved, right from Nyayo to Kasarani, the infrastructure, you know, road network. Those are long-term benefits, and this one will help us. First of all, the other long-term benefit is that during this period, there are many facilities that are going to hire people. There are many facilities that are going to hire people. When I mean facilities, it's hotels and accommodation. An extra number of people are going to be hired. And when you hire people and get them opportunities, most of them, they may be retained for a longer period of time. And them that will be working for a short period of time, that short period of time, they will get benefits that they can multiply and do things that will affect them in the long term. And besides that, you remember, in Nairobi, different cultures are meeting here. Cultures are meeting in Nairobi, and they are meeting here, interacting with them. They will also change us in one way or another. They will change the way we see things, and that will have a long-term impact in Nairobi. And probably in years to come, the people who knew Nairobi of 2024 going down, they come now in 2027, they'll find a different Nairobi in terms of the mannerism, the way we handle people, because I think after this, we will be a different cultured city, that a city that is well known for people who have good manners, and a city where people tell you this is white, when the people tell you this is salt, and not anything else. So these cultures, when they come, they are going to change us in one way or another. I'm looking forward to be available and around the city, watching and also learning, going to the stadium and interacting with the people who come from different parts of the world. But over and above, this is one of the other long-term benefits that we're going to have in this city. Because I told you, this CAFA plays a platform scouts from across the world. They'll come and pick on so I implore our boys, and boys doesn't mean young. It's not. We say that because boys play football, men don't play. As old people don't play football. The boys, I pray that you put your best foot forward so that these people come across the world. We want to hear that from Kenyan team Harambee Stars, somebody has gone to Man City, Liverpool, and those other international teams where the benefits of playing for those teams, it's known. And those benefits, whatever they get, it comes back to Kenya and to change Kenya, their villages, in a positive way. So the benefits are huge.
Yes, and I would like you to look straight into the camera for a clarion call for Kenyans and even the fans who will be thronging Kasarani to watch the matches that will be played there. For us to have a CHAN 2024 that is very, very successful.
Ladies and gentlemen, from
camera 4.
KBC, this is your channel for CHAN 24/7 is going to show. We support KBC, and fans and any other person, the foreigners and the locals, make this day successful by being a successful person. Successful person is a person that is well collected, thoughtful, and emotionally controlled. Look forward positively and make sure that we, the fans and all of us, we cheer our team and the rest. And should there be in one way or another, you do not have time to go and watch live matches, tune to KBC. I've been assured before we started this show, I asked whether there will be outages of power. I've been told they have made sure systems are in place that you can watch your football match, your favorite football match, even from the comfort of your phone, streaming, and you watch. If you can go to Kasarani or Nyayo Stadium, make use of your bundles, watch, and be one among many Kenyans supporting the people who come here. And let us, as usual, practice our known hospitality by being kind to foreigners. If somebody asks you something and you do not have an answer, do not dismiss them. Reach out to your friend who is across, who's standing next to you, or reach out to the one who's standing on your left, on the ahead of your back, and make sure that you help anybody who lands in DCT. God bless you. Watch KBC.
Thank you so much. That has been Peter Mutuku Mutua, Honorable Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is the head of Service Delivery Unit at Nairobi County, and just giving us some of the things that we actually didn't know in regards to the last-minute preparations for Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania hosting the CHAN matches. And I would like to again to stress what he's just said is that KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, will be beaming these matches, and also our radio stations as well. So make a date. When we began this conversation, I asked two very simple questions. How many times has Kenya played the CHAN Championship? And the second one was, how many teams will be playing in this year's CHAN Championship? Mheshimiwa, maybe you can answer, you can help our viewers to answer the question, how many times we've played?
You know what you are doing?
Yes.
You are just setting me up. Because when we started, you allowed me to dwell on other things, and we agreed that you will be giving us the answer. And now that you are not giving us the answer, I will not struggle giving you the answer, but I'll use this opportunity to remind something, because there's something that I had forgotten. And remember to give us the answer, because we started and we had set the rules of the game. That you are going to give us the answer. I concentrate on other things. And one of the things that I had forgotten is I want to state it now. I remember
just before we began.
So I want to state it now. That remember, the finals will be done here in Nairobi. What a privilege to do the finals here in Nairobi. So the finals, for them to settle to have the finals in the city, they knew that we are able. So as we move to the final, make sure you watch throughout. Then final, let us put our best foot forward. Let us show the world who we are. We dress in Kenyan attire so that the world can pick that these are Kenyan cheering these people. Let us make sure it's a memorable day. Over to you. Tell us how many teams, how many times.
All right. Kenya will be playing for the first time at the CHAN Championship, and 19 teams have already confirmed their participation, and not only confirmed, Morocco was the first country to jet in, and they are already just familiarizing with their climate, the food, you know, and also looking at the venues as well. So Kenya will be playing for the first time, and it's a privilege and honor, and especially for even sports commentators like us, because I began commentating 2010 for the 2010 World Cup, when the World Cup was right here in Africa, and ever since I've done AFCON World Cup. But this is quite different this time round, because for the first time ever, we are hosting the CHAN. It will be home ground, so it hits different. So as Honorable has talked about, is that our Kenyan spirit, our Kenyan flag, you know, in the East African region, we are known to be people who love football, people who are passionate about what they want, and he has told us it's all systems go. The Nairobi County government, leave alone Kenya, the Nairobi County government is ready and more than willing to welcome visitors in our country. Well, that is what we have been looking at, the impact of the CHAN away from the stadium and some of the preparations that we have already done. On our second hour, we will, as I mentioned, we will be having an interview with Dr. Ouma Oluga, the PS Medical Services, that will be conducted by my colleague Marie Yambo. But here in studio, we'll be having Jessica Shirakushe, who is a physiotherapist. Remember, at the end of the day, a lot of action that will be beginning this weekend. You need to know 2 or 3 things in regards to physiotherapy. I'll be back in a moment.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, CHAN is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
They say the earth without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
So why is it so difficult for us to set boundaries, especially as women? Why do we find it hard to own and protect our space?
There are some boundaries that are actually set by what you call the psychologists and counselors board that also help to make sure that the client is taken well care of.
The boundaries are not necessarily just about keeping people out,
yes,
but how do we filter and then build relationships, like Dr. Jean has just mentioned.
So it's so important that the woman stands up for herself rather than be made to submit and manipulated, which is occurring very often in the society.
The challenge is that we live in a society where we've been told who we are for so long that we've forgotten who we are.
Ingekuwa vizuri sana kama ungepigania Jane wako vile unapigania watoto wa Joyce.
Usinitajie huyo pepo.
Ishindo hiyo pepo kabisa. Yaani huyu mwanamke hakuna siku ataniacha na amani na familia yangu. Ashughulike tu na boma yake.
Nimekuambia urudi hivi umekuja. Let's go up. Let's mature.
Mimi sioni shida yoyote.
Acha uongo. Wewe na Joyce hakuna kitu mnafanana.
Welcome back to KBC News Check. Many thanks indeed for keeping us company. And we have an extension, a little extension of Chan. Today is Chan. But remember, we are also looking forward to the interview with Dr. Ouma Oluga that will be conducted by my colleague, Marie Yambo from Karen, who is the PS. Oluga is a PS for medical services. But before then, at least we can touch a little bit on matters health, but when it comes to physiotherapists. And Jessica Shirakushe is a physiotherapist. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Kindly tell us something about yourself and what you do.
My name is Jessica Shiraku, not Shirakushe.
Oh, Shiraku.
I'm a physiotherapist. I work at the Nairobi Hospital, and I'm also a sports therapist who has been working as a sports therapist for the last over 25 years. I've handled various teams. Currently, my position at the Nairobi Hospital is the chief physiotherapist and head of orthopedic and sports center, which we set up a few years ago. Yeah.
A sports therapy center. What
orthopedic and sports therapy center. So this sports therapy center is a multidisciplinary center where we work together with orthopedic doctors. We have the physiotherapists, we have the nutritionists, and we have also the nurses. So it is a multidisciplinary center that which was set up at the Nairobi Hospital by me and one of the sports doctors called Dr. Bargore.
And you're talking about across different fields?
Yes, it's across different fields. We see all types of sports, ranging from athletics, rugby, football, all kind of sports. Any sports injuries, we manage it.
Which are some of the teams that you've been able to work with?
I've worked with several teams. I've worked with football teams. There's a time we went with the football team to Brazil. I've worked with cricket. I've worked with athletics, and I've worked with swimmers and rugby as well. Yeah.
So tell us, now that we have Chan, are you having any involvement in regards to Chan, and especially for our Kenyan team?
Yes, we will take care, especially regarding their injuries and the wellness of athletes. It's very, very important that the physios are there to help with the Chan. Yes, we will take part.
Yeah, and football is a physical demanding sport. What sort of injuries, mostly because you've talked about going to Brazil with the national team.
Yes.
Which are some of the most common injuries that you have witnessed and some of the therapy that you've been given to these athletes?
So most common injuries in football is what we call the lower limbs injuries. So those are strains, sprains, muscle tears, and at times we even get what we call concussion. Concussion is, because of the impact of the way they do, you can have a head injury. And that is one of the worst injuries that you can get when you're having football. So the other ones of the muscle strain and muscle injuries are easy to handle. For example, you always see us carrying some ice in our bags. We are carrying some deep heat, deep freeze. Those freezes that we help to really manage the injuries as they occur. The thing for an athlete is that they should continue. They don't want to get out of the field. So they feel like if I have an injury, there's someone who can handle that injury there and then and make me able to go. Unless if it is very serious, the sprains and the strain we handle and the athletes go back to play.
Could you walk us through a typical rehabilitation exercise for a football player? Because I'm not saying that we will have the players injured, but we are likely to see that happen.
Okay. The most important thing that a football player should do is to ensure that they do a correct warm-up before they get into the field. I'm sure you've seen most of the time, even when we are trying to get somebody into the field, someone is warming for so long, you wonder, is that person not getting tired? But we need them to have very warm muscles as they get in. With a warm muscle, it is easy for them not to get injury. So that is where we start with the rehabilitation. We ensure that before they get into the field, we prevent any sorts of injury from happening. So they do warm-ups, and after the warm-ups, we do for them what we call stretches. Stretches is to ensure that the joints are supple enough and there's easy movement. With stiff joints, you may not be able to do much. So we do for them the stretches to ensure that these athletes are in a good supple movement and their joints can move to any place. You can see there's a lot of rotation, there's a lot of movement, and with stiff joints, you cannot be able to do that. But in case there is an injury, we always ensure that that athlete is put to rest. That is a very important thing. And that's where we start with the RICE. RICE is where you put rest, ice, elevation, and also rest. So it is very, very important that we start with that. And when we do that, then sometimes we use what you call an ultrasound machine. An ultrasound machine is a physio machine which just helps to reduce the swelling and increase circulation to the injured part. So when there's increased circulation to that injured part, you find that now the healing takes place very, very fast. And why do we use ice? We use ice because at that particular time, there's a lot of inflammation in the muscles. When there's a lot of inflammation in the muscles, we want to reduce that inflammation by putting ice. So this is what we work with, what we call vasoconstriction. There's vasoconstriction whereby there's not too much blood that is sent to the point, and it will help to reduce the pain. So the rehabilitation starts right there. And if, for example, I've said if the athlete is seriously injured and we put to rest, then we will work together with an orthopedic doctor so that we ensure that this athlete is taken care of until when they are ready to return to play. So in rehabilitation phase, you will find that we use almost the gym equipment. You will take that athlete to the treadmill, you will take them to the cross trainer, but every time you are watching the gait is really key so that they are stepping properly. Because sometimes you may find that they are favoring one side, and when you are favoring one side, your body is not balanced. So we really work towards making sure that their body is balanced enough, and when it is balanced enough, then they are able to go back to play.
Talking of balance, how do you strike the delicate balance where you find that a player desire to return to play quickly before he or she has fully recovered, and so that you, as the physiotherapist, you want to avoid additional injury, and maybe you are sure that indeed, and as much as a player wants to play, because I remember I used to play basketball and I've played it, let's say, semi-pro, and I remember I had to hide an injury because I wanted to play in that game. And as a physiotherapist, I'm quite sure if there was a physiotherapist, I wouldn't have played that game.
What you're saying is exactly what happens. Every time they players and the athletes try to hide injuries. And this is very, very common because, you know, they have the pressure to go and represent the country. They want to be seen there, so they will hide injuries. So that is why in every training, a physiotherapist is there. So we are watching you. We have an eye that can pick anything that is happening. I'll give you an example. You find that someone has a very bad knee, but they still want to run. So you will watch the way they are doing, they're hiding, but I will notice because now the way you step, as I told you, is very important to me. You may find that you are even trying to step on the lateral side of the foot rather than stepping the way it is. So we can always pick up anything that you are trying to hide. So with physios, that is one thing that we really do. And we always talk with the coach and we tell the coach, despite everything, this athlete needs further evaluation. And for sure, when we take that athlete now for evaluation, you know, we have to do the muscle back test, we have to do the joint range of motion. You will always find that there's something. Because if you have a bad knee or a bad ankle joint, you don't want it to move to full range. Of course, even if I try to move it for you, you will twitch. I watch your face also to see how your face is reacting. So that's how we manage to pick all the athletes that are injured and we put them aside.
Despite the fact that they insist that Nikosawa.
Most of them will insist Nikosawa.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, there are many new technologies that have come over the years because back in the days, I can attest, because back in the days, you have somebody, one of you, as the team doctor, you remember?
Yeah.
With some glucose and stuff. But even in sporting disciplines and even high school, because the high school are the ones who are feeding the national teams that we have now, there are new techniques and technologies in sports therapy that are currently being used.
Yes.
Especially now in Kenya.
Yes.
Because we have CHAN now.
Yeah. We have lots of new technologies that we use. But what you may know that we really do not advocate for so much is for the athletes to be put on, those drugs, painkillers and whatever. So most of the time we do we use what we call physical agents. So physical agents, it's like if, for example, an athlete has got an injury, they're the physical agents that we use to help them really go back to that. And then also there is also the evaluation. You evaluate that athlete accordingly. You do pre-assessment to that athlete so that you know that now this is what we are using. It is not those days that when an athlete is running, okay, kuja ulambe glucose. Those glucose, at least we don't even give these days. We just ensure that you have properly rehydrated, you take enough water, and you are eating well. For athlete also, nutrition is very key. I know those days there was nothing about nutrition. You just you eat ugali and skuma, you eat mrenda, and that's it. You go and play. But this is very important for an athlete also to look at the nutrition. How am I eating? Because also when you have a lot of fat composition in your body rather than muscles, then you are not able to also do what you need to do properly. In case of injuries these days, we have even there's a way nowadays we use some machines that can actually remove away the pain very fast. For example, we have the laser therapy, we have the shockwave therapy, which we send shockwave through the muscles, and the athletes actually get back quickly. And also the rehabilitation itself has changed. It is not the same way we would tell somebody, just go run. No. We do it in, let me just use the word science, because we are watching how are they doing it. How is the movement? How is the pattern of the movement? So that things have changed actually.
It's a good thing you've mentioned the diet. How much important is diet to not only our recovering athletes, but to our very active athletes, especially during physiotherapy? Because I've seen over the shelf everything from protein-based to things to rub,
Yeah, when it comes to diet, and I'll tell athletes, players, the most important thing is the food that you eat. Those things on the shelf, they really don't do much. So just make sure you have a balanced diet where you eat enough protein, you eat enough starch, you have enough vitamin, so that your body is correctly balanced. Those off the shelf, they do not help much, but you need, some people really believe in them. So what we do, we encourage them to look at their nutrition and to feed well. And the most important thing also is for you to have the 3 balanced diet, from morning, eat your breakfast, eat your lunch, eat your dinner. Don't say that, oh, I ate dinner, now I don't want to eat lunch. So balance your diet properly so that you are able to play, and you have to go the 3 main diet effects.
And the climate, because we have, I just mentioned Morocco was the first country to get to Kenya, and we know they are from very high altitude, right?
Yes.
And the temperatures, now Kenya, it's a whole different case. Does that affect maybe the output of players? Does it affect the recovery of players as well?
Not really, because let me tell you, everything may only, sometimes it's in the mind, that I've gone to a cold area, I've gone to a hot area. As I said earlier, the most important thing is to ensure that you have warmed your muscles fully. So the temperatures may not affect you as much as athletes believe. And this is something I've always told them, please, let's not put too much effort on temperatures or on weather or whatever. If you are able to perform, do your warm-ups nicely, and you can always get it. And for sure, they are in Kenya, and Kenya has the best ever weather and climate in the world. Yes, and I'm sure everybody will enjoy.
Yeah, because of the equator.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm also looking at how you collaborate with other members of the medical team. Because we have team doctor.
Yes.
You have nutritionist, we have sports scientist, we have physiotherapist. How do you collaborate with this?
So our work is interlinked. We work together throughout. So for example, the doctor is there for sometimes referrals. If, for example, I'm in the field with athletes throughout and I've noted what is the problem, I will obviously tell the doctor, I've noted this athlete, we need to check this and this. And for sure, the doctor will check and find out. And if I find there's an athlete who looks a bit like they're not feeding well, most of the time you find some of them, especially when they go to other countries, they do not feed well, they don't want this food, it's not good. You encourage them now to see the nutritionist. And what I've noted is that nutritionists may encourage that athlete to eat the food they like. Okay, so if you like eating bread with soup, they'll encourage you now, take this, add this kidogo, so that you are not like starving. Okay, so we work together, and you find that we are all just called medical team, and we are almost always at the same time with the athlete. So if I'm going to watch that athlete, we are all together working as a team.
What are some of the unique challenges that of providing physiotherapy to more or less like the tournament that we have? Chan is a big event, as opposed to maybe the FKF matches that we have every weekend.
So the challenge that we have now in this big upcoming is the sports physicians, the sport physiotherapists, the sport nutrition. In Kenya we are not so many. Although they are coming up, we are not so many. So you'll find that we may have a bit of challenge in handling this, but we are still set. We will set and see, even if it means working 24 hours, we will still push ourselves to the end. And then sometimes it is also, I don't know, Moroccans language also sometimes becomes a bit of a challenge. There are some people who may not be able to speak the English or Kiswahili. And what happens is sometimes translation, people may translate the wrong thing. You may be requiring this and you find this is what has been translated. That is something which is really, really a problem. But I'm hoping that they have come with somebody who really can understand what we will be talking about. And the other thing is, as I said, when people come in, there's always sometimes food. You've not been used to that type of food. So you find that at times when the athletes come in, they have a lot of problems with their, let me just use the layman language, stomach. You find before they settle in, there is a problem, my stomach. But that is something that we always handle with our sports physician so that they can see what it is. That is one challenge that we've had, even when we had the other ones with the under 20 from athletics. There was a lot of stomach issues that they were complaining about.
Talking of diet, away from diet, beyond injury treatment, because that's not the only thing that you guys do, how does physiotherapy contribute to enhancing the player's performance?
Okay, you know, physiotherapist is there like throughout. You know, there's preventive, there's maintenance, and there's the treatment part. So you see, when you are with an athlete, you are preparing that athlete for a tournament. So I'm not saying an athlete because he's injured or what, but you may find that we do what we call the soft tissue manipulation, you know? That soft tissue manipulation means you are releasing, every time you have to release the lactic acid from the muscles, because after training, they really retain a lot of lactic acid. So that is why you find that at times, a physio is with that athlete almost like the whole day, just working with that athlete to ensure that those muscles do not retain a lot of lactic acid that may have. So that is part of maintenance, so that they are able to continue with their sports the next day. So you'll find that every evening after the training, or every morning after the training, the athletes know, and they come to you and tell you, Madam, I'm feeling this muscle. So it is like we work with them like throughout, not just because of injuries, but maintenance of the body as well.
Kenya has never hosted such a big event, sporting event. The last time, I think it was the All African Games in '87. How do you see hosting CHAN impacting the standards of sports physiotherapy and also athlete care?
We are really excited,
because we're expecting different types of physiotherapists for the number of teams.
We are actually excited to have them around, because we are looking at it now that they will see that really Kenya is a power in sports, that we have the sports physio who can handle all that comes in. So it is going to impact on us, because that now what you will see, you may find that many people now will even want to be sports physio, because they'll see this opening, these things that they can do. So we are happy, and we are looking forward to having them, because in Kenya now, even the government will recognize the importance of physio in the society as well.
And I'm looking at your numbers as sports physiotherapist. You've been in the industry for a number of years.
Yes.
How are you faring in regards to other, because we don't even have, in Kenya, we don't even have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses, we don't have enough teachers. So when you talk about sports physiotherapists, how many are you? And is the field growing bigger?
The field is growing at the moment, but we are quite a few compared to other countries, you know, like the developed countries. You know, they take sports so seriously. You will find in each school, there is always a sports physio in the school. So as the child is growing, as the child is playing, there's a sports physio, there's a coach, always attached to that sport team. So what is happening is we really need to see how we can also build ourselves in that way, like other countries. Then there is something we also need to do a lot, ourselves as sports physios and sports scientists as a whole. We need to now start doing the researches, you know, to find out how does this work. Because you can see in the other countries, people even do research on a shoe that someone is using. But Kenya, we haven't reached that stage at all. So we really need to also find out how we can work with. But I know there are a few people who like working with us. Like now I have the World Physiotherapist. I was there last month in Tokyo, where we were looking at sports and sports injuries. So they are ready to come in and help us. So we need to form forums where many of them can come, and then we see how we can push Kenya forward as well.
So you feel CHAN will improve and impact the standards of sports therapy in the country?
Yeah, I feel like that. Because I'm seeing it's not only Kenya that's going to watch CHAN. There are many other countries that are going to watch CHAN. Even Europe, they are like, let's see how Africa are doing. So I'm seeing it is going to improve a lot. Because I remember the other day someone was calling me and saying, oh, you are hosting CHAN. How is it? How are you going to do it? In fact, it is somebody who is not a Kenyan, but is a sports physio. And they were like, can you invite me? I said, no, I can't invite you. I'm not the one who invites people. But the physios and the sports physios in Kenya are going to handle it so well. You will see.
You've mentioned you've been to Brazil, you've been to China, you've been to a number of countries.
Many years.
What lessons can we borrow from those countries in regards to sports therapy? Because mostly we see in English Premier League, which is loved in Kenya, we see the stadiums are so nice, the gyms are so nice, their hospitals, the club hospitals are very nice. So what are some of the lessons that we can borrow and bring to the country that you have seen other countries do?
Okay, now, when I just talk on medical parts, let me give an example. The way now we are putting the Talanta Stadium.
Yes.
If you go to those countries, you find that apart from just those other rooms, there is always a medical part, you know, with all the medical professionals, the sports physio, the sports orthopedic doctors who are actually stationed there at the stadium. So there is a clinic that runs there. So I think Kenya, we can also borrow that as we are starting our Talanta.
Yes.
The other thing, we also need to ensure that we have, like now we know there's a lot of youth development. In those youth sports development, let's have a physio or a medic inside so that they can be telling this, the athletes and the players, this is what should happen, or taking care of them so that athlete grows knowing this is what goes on. So we can still borrow that from other countries because that is happening. In the colleges and universities, you find also there is always a sports physiotherapist, a sports doctors who are handling this. Kenya, by the way, it is not, we are only called during an event. So during an event, you will be told, Jessica, please come organize this because we are having this event. We need a physio to be on course. So that is now what we don't need to do. You know, it is like we work on impulse rather than having something to build us slowly. So that is another thing that we need to borrow because other countries, they are always having those people there and then at that
full time.
Full time. Yeah. They are employed. Not that I have to, players. Like now when I'm going, I have to ask for a letter, write a letter to my boss so that I can release me. So the boss will choose either to release you or to tell you take your leave. You see? Yes. So that is something that we need to really be able to develop in the country.
As we develop that, what do you believe are some of the challenges that are faced by a number of the few physiotherapists that we have in the country? And especially when it comes to scaling up or even the use of technology, because in as much as you're talking about being called, you will be called by a club, but you will go and find there's some things that they do not even have. There are some machines they do not have.
By the way, that is true. Lack of equipment. That is most things. You know, we sometimes lack even small things like the TheraBand, you know, for improving. So you'll find sometimes we do improvisation. Let's improvise this. So we need to ensure that we get the correct equipment that are needed. And one other thing you'll see, the gyms that the athletes need to use. We don't have gyms, and the gyms that are there are too expensive for the athletes to afford. You know, you want to tell an athlete to join this gym, but how will they join that gym when they do not? You know, they don't have a regular income. So financial is another constraint, both for physios and even the athletes themselves. The other thing is also, we would also like, you know, recognition that these are people who are helping build the sportsmen and women. So without that also, you know, it's another challenge. You feel like I'm left behind. You know, I'm only required at a particular time and not at all time. You see, I go home, and then the other thing is follow up. You get an injury, you are a sports person, you get an injury. I will take care of you during that time that I'm with you in the session. So after that, where you go, you go. And that's how you find that most of our athletes, they disappear from limelight so fast. Because there's no proper follow-up on their medical part. They got an injury. I took care of it that time. It was okay. I told them, go rest. When they go after the end of the tournament, that's it. Okay? So the few who may be, for example, living in Nairobi, will look for us, they will come and we may see them. But what about those ones who have gone back to their village? No one can follow them up. So lack of follow-up is another big thing that we really need to look into and see how do we follow up on our athletes for sustainability after an injury. Yeah.
And let's look at something that doesn't even require medicine or even machines, that is fatigue and rest.
Yeah.
We have seen players play multiple matches over and over again, and he's playing well, but you can see very well that this person needs rest. How is rest? How much does rest play in regards to therapy?
Rest plays a very great and important role. You know, the body is made into a certain way that it reaches a time when it is over-fatigued. And when it's over-fatigued, it actually wants you. But you'll find that the athletes may not really want to stop. But it is important that every rest is very important. That's why sometimes what we do, you'll find that even for rugby players and football players, we insist they are in bed by 9. By 9, and that's why it is good to have them at the camp. So you sleep at 9, you sleep throughout until 8. There's a time when we even take away their phones so that they can really rest.
Yes.
Because rest is key. If they don't rest, they may not even be able to perform again the other time. Fatigued muscles are easy even for tears. So you'll find that if a muscle is so fatigued, it will not release itself. And when you go the next day, you are working on a muscle that continuously protects itself. It goes into what we call spasms, meaning it's protecting itself against you know, the injury. And that is a muscle that can easily tear. That's why you find sometimes an athlete has a hamstring tear because of lack of good rest. Yes. Yeah.
There's someone who would like to venture into physiotherapy.
Physiotherapy,
yes. What exactly are the requirements and how do you venture into this? What are some of the opportunities that are there for physiotherapists in Kenya?
Opportunities for Kenya, for physios in Kenya is there. We have degree program running at Jomo Kenyatta University. We have one at Amref University. We have one at Masinde Muliro University. Then there's the Lake University. And then for those who may not have performed so well to reach the university level, there's the Kenya Medical Training College, where they can go and get a diploma. And even if after diploma, they can now go into their degree. But just being a physiotherapist is not a ticket that you are now going to be a sports person. So after you've done your physio, then you need to venture into sports. So you may do, let's say, diploma in sports again, or you can do, you can just, you know, improve yourself in doing even certificates in sports to reach that stage. So education for physios is there. We are having quite a number now. KMTC, I know there are many offering now the diploma courses, and then we have the 5 universities also offering the physio.
And you say the opportunities are many, mostly because of the numerous clubs that we have as well, which is the most rewarding part of your job, because you're more or less a caregiver.
Physio is so rewarding, and not only in sports, because, you know, there are so many lines you can take in physio. You can take even a neuro rehab, you can take respiratory rehabilitation, you can take pediatric rehabilitation. So there are so many ways you can be happy. For example, let me tell you, I feel very happy when, for example, an athlete has injured and I've been able to rehabilitate that athlete back to play, that I see the athlete is now playing or running. You know, it makes you feel so happy that, oh, if we didn't take good care of this athlete, they would have gone down. So that is a very rewarding. If I talk on the other side of maybe those who do neuro rehabilitation, you know, a stroke patient. A stroke patient who comes to you, bedridden, not able, but in the end, that patient, you are able to rehabilitate that patient back to independence. We call it independence, so that they are not dependent on anybody. So you really feel nice when your athlete or your patient comes back to normal and they are okay. During the COVID, you know, physios did a great job, because most people could not take care of their chest respiratory system. So it was these physios who came in and taught people breathing exercises, they taught them what to do. So, you know, people would scream, I can't get air, but the physio will be there encouraging. And by the way, we saved quite a number of people when it came to that. So physio is a fulfilling career. It is a career that, apart from just being in anywhere, you can work anywhere, anytime. Like even the gyms require physios, by the way. They should not just be there. You've had people injuring in the gym and then you'll never go back. So all these gyms in Kenya require physiotherapists to be with them.
That brings us to my question on policy changes, because you have traveled far and wide and you've noticed how a government, the policies that are laid out such that if it's a club, this is ABCD that you need to be having. But when it comes to Kenya, it's on a need to have basis.
Yes, so need to have basis.
Yeah, so Jessica, where are you? We have a match this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Can you make time? So what are some of these policy changes that are required, especially in the sports docket, to ensure that not only are we taking care of our athletes, they're also taking care of their bodies as well?
Yes, so what we need to do is that as a country, we need to look at how, let me just put this first. Kenyans are becoming very, people who like sports, because you can always see even in the morning people running around on the roads and all that. So these people need to have a physio to advise and take care of. So the country needs to, if it wants to have a healthy young people or even old generation, they need to ensure that the physios are placed in all the strategic places that they need to be, so that they are able to help these people. I know of private companies will look into that, but the government needs to see, how do I help the Kenyan citizens to be able to work and be okay. And you see, even where the sports and orthopedic center I told you we are setting up, we're not only looking at the athletes, we're also looking at recreational players. Those people who wake up in the morning, they do their exercises. You are free to come and consult so that we can tell you what it is. So here we need to do all the pre-assessments, cardiology. You've heard of people collapsing in the gyms. Yeah. So we need to evaluate, see, are you okay to do what you are doing? So physio is key in all areas, and the government should look into it and ensure that there is an expert in all areas to help them go through what they are going through. Yeah.
I'm quite sure there are a number of athletes and even people who like working out who are watching us right now. So what advice would you give to someone on how to stay injury-free, whether that person is a professional in terms of sports, a swimmer, our footballers? What advice would you give to this person? Because sometimes you find a player is injured during the warm-up, 5-10 minutes to a match.
So my advice is, listen to your body. Your body tells you a lot. But if you ignore what your body is telling you, you may end up in a lot of problems. Okay, for example, if you are in the warm-up the way you have said, and you twist and you feel that, oh, this knee of mine is telling me there's something wrong. Please stop. Find your physio or your doctor. Say, please, can I have an examination of this? Whether you are in recreation and you are doing something and you feel there's this nagging pain that does not go away, please listen to your body and seek advice before you continue. It could be just something small, which when taken care of, it goes. But if you do not take care of it, then it becomes a thing that will be on forever. So my advice to everybody is, listen to your body. And before you start any exercise, do enough warm-up. Do enough warm-up so that your muscles are nicely hot and they can be stopped from getting injuries. Yeah.
Maybe you have a case, a patient success story of an athlete who have been having issues, but when he or she sought help from a physiotherapist, now the athlete is continuing, and especially when it comes to our athletes, our runners, our footballers. Do you have any success stories in Kenya?
Yes, we have quite a number of success stories. Like, I'll give an example. There is an athlete who had ACL tear. ACL tear is anterior cruciate ligament tear. It required that this patient must be done a surgery. Surgery was done, and we told this athlete, for sure, you're going to be off play for almost 6 weeks, and listen to us. So after the doctor did the surgery, obviously now they give the patient to the physiotherapist. And that is now we started our rehabilitation program. That athlete is back and is playing rugby now.
Rugby?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there are many. There's even an athlete who had an accident, broke his leg, ankle joint. He's a marathon runner. We also did surgery. We went through the rehabilitation. He's back. He's running his marathon again. So there are many success stories that we've seen and watched. There is even another athlete who had a shoulder dislocation. It was actually recurrent, you know, that one which comes on and off, comes on and off, comes on and off. But you see, being an athlete who wants to play, they would hide. But after we took care of that athlete, we just noted that there was some small tear in the supraspinatus muscle, which we put to rest. Nothing much, just put to rest, and then encourage that athlete just to do the gentle little exercises, and the athlete went back. He's back to his basketball. Yeah, so there are many success stories that I can talk of. Yes.
Where does the mental and physical a meeting point, because mental health is very important. I'm saying this, I will give you a practical example. I'm also a boxing fan, and there's this athlete called Tyson Fury, who had to stay out of boxing for a number of years because of his mental health. We expect, because boxing is a very physical sport, maybe he injured his arm, maybe his leg, or maybe his ribs, but he had to stay out because of mental illness. How do we balance this and ensure that we don't have, not only have a physically fit body, but also a mentally fit body?
Yeah, one thing for sure, you cannot ignore the mental health. And the mental health, like now, even now, the way the athletes are preparing, they are having mental issues, they are worried, they are, you know, am I going to play well, am I going to do what? And one thing for sure that the athletes do not like is losing. And that actually drives them into a mental health. So most of the time you find that even in our team, you have a psychologist who is able to work with these athletes. After every game, they just talk, and we allow them to freely talk about their issues. Sometimes it could even be an issue at home, which is also disturbing them, and it can bring in some mental issues. So the psychologist is always there to ensure that these athletes are put, you know, they are put into relaxation mode, and they are able to talk about anything that is disturbing them at one particular time. And even after losing a match, you know, that is another time that is also very important that the psychologists should really talk to the athletes and ensure that their mental is taken care of. Yeah.
Well, you also link up with the psychiatrists and psychologists so that to ensure that the players do not even have issues with them.
Most of the time you find in the team, that's why I told you it is a multidisciplinary team. We have all those people within. Yeah. Yes.
And because of the interest of time, for final comments, and also anybody who wants to know more about physiotherapy, where can somebody, you know, look for such information, or where can someone get you?
Yeah. Okay, if you are interested in physio, we are there. We are physio leaders actually in Kenya, and we have the Kenya Society of Physiotherapists, and which is also under the government. It's called Physiotherapy Council of Kenya. So we can always get any information related to physiotherapy. Apart from that, also during when there's advertisement, you'll find when KMTC advertising and the university are advertising, you can, and I'm also available for any person. By the way, I got a few kids the other day, and one has just written to me that I'm planning to get into physio. I'm coming to see you. So you can always be free to come. We discuss. I tell you how good physio is and the importance of physio and how you will be even in future. So to find me, you get me at the Nairobi Hospital, Physical Medicine Center. It is on first floor in the new building. You enter through the western entrance. Yes.
And because being in the sports field, I'm quite sure you're also, in one way or the other, a sports fan as well. What are we looking? Are you also part of CHAN?
I'm not going to miss that one.
Yes,
no matter the case, I'm not going to miss.
Yes.
I'm going to be there, but even for now, I'm also part of the Tokyo team. You know, there's a team going to Tokyo for athletics. We will be going in September. I'm also part of that team. I'll be traveling with athletics to Tokyo for the world champion. Yeah.
I'm looking at also people who train at home, me included. Don't have time for gym, you don't have time to maybe go to a field, maybe to have a run. What's some of the advice that you can give to these athletes so that they may also avoid injuries as well?
Yeah. So for home players, I will tell you it is also key for you to ensure that before you start any of these exercises, the first thing is for you to do pre-assessment. Please be assessed, because you can still do that exercises in the home and you get something like even, you can even, throw an emboli or something. So we really need to be checking you out and continue. It's not that we want to be with you all the time, but just to advise you, this is the important thing that you can do. I know everybody wants to do some exercises, but exercises also has its own disadvantages and advantages. So if you are just jumping into exercise, it's not normally sometimes the best, and we need to be able to assess you as a group, the multidisciplinary group, and see that you are fit to do anything. But if it is just the normal small things that you do, please make sure you have warmed up your body enough. I know ladies like doing like skipping rope, which is a good thing. You can skip, but watch also your weight. Am I supposed to do this skipping? Because what you'll be doing, you are also injuring your knees. You are dumping your knees with a lot of weight. So we really need to find out how best is it that you are able to do your exercises on your own without causing any injuries to yourself.
And I'm looking at how you handle patients with who are resistant to treatment. The reason I'm asking this is because sometimes you find a player has to stop doing what he or she loves the most, either running, you have to, either javelin, either football, or even swimming, because of a niggling injury or that has refused to just go away and has to give up all that he had worked for years. How do you deal with those who are resistant to some kind of treatment?
There are a lot of athletes who are resistant to treatment, and they will tell you, "Mi niko sawa, mi niko sawa," but you can see he's not sawa. You see, so what we do is, these are some of the athletes that now we need to engage all our multidisciplinary approach. We need our psychologists to be there, we need the doctor to be there, and we need the physios to be there. And we now take them slowly, because, this is, as I told you, there is always pressure to represent the country. Someone wants to see, what am I able to do for my country? And then you are trying to remove him out of that. Then they feel like, I'm going to be a failure. So you really need to go slowly to them, encourage them, talk to them. Sometimes what we do, even for those who are so resistant, we tell them, okay, I want you to try this. You give them a sort of, just a small, exercise, do this. And at times, the athletes themselves will tell you, "Yenyewe daktari, what you said is true, I'm feeling this." So for those ones, we always find a proper way to approach them, because you cannot just say, "Nimesema toka." You can't do that. So you have to go slowly and let them really understand why you are trying to help them. It is for their own good and not for my own good.
And how do you approach pain management without the over-reliance on medication? Because we have seen that every time a player is injured, there are some drugs that he or she has to take.
In fact, that's what we are trying to stop.
Oh, the
reliance,
the over-reliance on medication.
Medication, because medication has also its own side effects. So if there are just those injuries that can be managed on physiotherapy, then we do that. Remember, in my first talk, I said there's some machines that are pain relievers, like the ultrasound. There's the the TENS, we call it TENS. The one that we use to block nerves from sending impulses to the brain about the pain. Then we have the new machine in town, the shockwave therapy machine, which we do there, and it helps into rejuvenating the ligaments or the muscles, and you feel okay. And I know, I'll tell you for sure, most of the athletes do not like taking medications or injections. They don't like. They will ask you, "Nitadungwa," So it's like that's why now physio, you find that we are key and we are always there because they prefer to be seen by ours. You know, we use what we call physical agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, I know, you know, Kenyans, we like trying out everything. There's this common myth that, you know, cracking your knuckles, the way I'm doing, you know, prevents or can cause arthritis. What are some of the myths that you can debunk for us in regards to our bodies?
Okay, you know, the body is built in different ways for different people. You'll find some people are able to do those knuckles, even for the neck, for the shoulders, for the, and another one is not able to do it. So we do not say there's anything that's wrong with that, but the only thing we say is that, for example, when it comes to the neck, we do not like a lot of those, you know, on the neck, because what you do is you create some weaknesses in the ligaments that hold it together. So we try our best not to do that. But whatever you can do and it is comfortable, it's not causing you any pain, like your knuckles, me, I can't do mine. It is allowed, you can still do it, yes.
And indeed, so much to talk about, and thank you indeed so much. I have been a sports journalist. As a matter of fact, after I completed college, I was a sports journalist for about 9 years. So I'm quite passionate about matter sports, and also you're also passionate about matter sports. Chaniko KBC, I would like you to have your final say as we wrap it up, and don't forget to remind our viewers that Chaniko KBC.
Okay.
Camera, my good director.
What I'll tell you.
Camera 4. Yes.
The viewers.
1. Yeah. Okay.
Chan is on, and we are all excited. It is something so good for Kenya, and our channel, which has been our supportive channel in all sports events, that is KBC, will be covering. And please all tune in into KBC and watch the games as they start till the end.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That has been Jessica Shiraku, who is a physiotherapist, and we have been looking at matters, our bodies as well. And talking about our bodies, I'm also giving the baton now to Marie Yambo, who is currently hosting the PS Medical Services, that is Dr. Uma Oluga, for a candid discussion on the medical condition we have in the country. For me, Bentro Njue, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ben Troy. My name is Maria, and we're coming to you live from the Kenya Institute of Primate Research, where we want to talk about pertinent issues touching on the health sector. That is from the Social Health Authority, SHA, to the recent vaccination campaign against rubella, measles, and also typhoid. And joining me in this exclusive interview is none other than Dr. Uma Oluga. He is the Principal Secretary, Medical Services, Ministry of Health. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Where do we start? Dr. Uma Oluga. People remember you, Kenyans remember you as that vocal Secretary General for the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union. But you've also held very many other portfolios, you know, including the Director of Medical Services, NMS, the Nairobi, Metropolitan Services. So congratulations, first of all, for being appointed the Principal Secretary of Medical Services. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And then good morning to our viewers. First and foremost, I think I've been privileged in my life to have opportunity to work. As you've noted, Kenyans remember me for that position I held, leading doctors. And then I also even led the health workers globally. I know for 2 years, 2019-2021, I was the co-chair of Health Workers for All Coalition, which is a global organization. And in that space, of course, we pushed for a lot of reforms in terms of how health workers are treated. There is no single health worker in this country who is earning a salary that I did not negotiate, not a single health worker.
Okay.
So all the salaries that health workers earn, I negotiated them. And we were doing it, I think it's good to put it into context, we were doing it so that every Kenyan, irrespective of where they are, have access to a skilled, motivated, and supported health worker. We were not doing it because health workers are special, or because they are well educated, or because they are deserving jobs. I am extremely passionate about healthcare, extremely passionate, and I'm very grateful to His Excellency the President for giving me the opportunity now to serve in this position, because I have always longed in my life to make a difference in our healthcare system. Early on in my career, when I was in the university, I had extraordinary opportunity to travel so many countries within Africa and outside of Africa. I did my attachment in the United States of America when I was barely 23 years. I was in Oregon, Portland, Providence. I went to Egypt when I was still a medical student, was there for another 2 months trying to look at Suez Canal University, how do they do their systems. I had the opportunity to engage in South Africa, and so I saw very many systems all over the world. And so it sparked a fire inside of me. How can we make our healthcare systems better? And then so kila kitu nafanya inakuwa to, like, I usually want our healthcare system to work, and especially to work for the person who does not have my number, the person who does not know an MCA, the one who does not know an MP, the one who cannot even call for Arambe because they don't even have a teacher in their family who they can call. Because that's the background I come from. I come from a very poor background that if systems did not work, then, I would not be here. Exactly. Yes, so that's the premise that I want to work with, and I carry that passion with me every single day in office, working for the common Kenyan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oluga, for giving us just that brief, of your background and the experience that you've had, from university and the other, exposure, out of the country, and just seeing how other health systems work and wanting the health systems to work here in our country. But it's been just about, say, 100 days in office. So, exactly.
It's 100 days in office.
Yes.
That 100 days has meant a lot. That 100 days we have streamlined a lot. I think now people can see the unions are quiet. I am background is union. In fact, the first 1 week I was in office, I had a 30-minute conversation with PS Kipto, PS for National Treasury. And we were just going through the things that we needed to solve the workers' challenges. By the way, take it that is not in my State Department. But, I need the workers in the hospital so that they can work for Kenyans, even though it is not directly under me, but I need them. So we have to solve that issue. And then I am also grateful for the Cabinet Secretary, because when I presented the issues to him, and he asked me what can we do, and we sort of packaged how we can work with the National Treasury. Now we've solved the CBA issues of doctors, the arrears have been paid, internship is done. Interns form 27% of the workforce. The younger doctor seeing you in a hospital is more likely to be an intern. Yeah, 3 out of 10 doctors are interns. So that's a big workforce that I need so that patients can be treated. You've seen the vaccination issues. The other thing, for the last 1 year, we had not procured vaccines in the country. So you could, when we came into office, the first letter I signed on the 17th of April when I came into office was 1 billion shillings that we were getting from Treasury. And again, thanks to Treasury, because we just made the call that morning and I was like, we're in a crisis. We need to sort out this. And we were sending that money to UNICEF. A few weeks later, you saw us receiving the vaccines at the airport. And now, yeah. So, I mean, coming from, we came in to sort crisis. So, the health workers crisis, the issues around vaccines crisis. People had missed some vaccinations for around 3 months. Right now, you don't hear of anything about vaccinations. All hospitals, public, private, have vaccines. We have received vaccines. We have vaccines now. We have even procured more. We've sorted our issues with Gavi. We owed Gavi around $12 million, around 1.5 billion Kenya shillings. And we were facing the risk of what we call red zoning. Red zoning means that Gavi gives us a lot of support for vaccine, but you have to pay your part. So by 30th of June, we were facing that risk. So the first crisis, health workers sorted. The second crisis, vaccine sorted. The third was to stabilize the systems and the SHA.
Okay.
and to make sure that things are working. As you can see, we have stabilized that. Many hospitals were complaining, or the systems, the OTP is dropping. Now, it takes only 1 second. You get your 1 second, you get back your what we call one-time password, you give to the health worker, everything is now okay. And we have progressed. By the time I was coming to office, we were just 21 million Kenyans who had registered. We are now nearing 25 million. We are around 24.8 million Kenyans that are now registered. So just in a span of 3 months, we can say that 1 million per month, which is quite a big achievement. You've of course seen, again, the support of the Cabinet Secretary. We've been going around to do what we call activations. So the 1 month in office has been good. I've also streamlined the State Department, the Technical Directorate. We went in and, we just wanted people to feel like they are motivated, they need to be aligned to work. And so we've done a lot of meetings with our workers in the ministry itself, and also with our state departments, state parastatals. We've seen us going to Kenyatta National Hospital, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Hospital, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. We are with our KEMSA, I've even addressed staff there just to make sure that what we call institutional stability.
Exactly.
So that institutions perform, so that institutions are aligned to the government agenda. And more importantly, institutions are aligned to the public expectations. Remember when I came in the first day, I said 3 things. One is to restore trust and public confidence, and then I'm glad that the CS also has picked that. So we are very aligned in our agenda. Number 2 is what we call implementation efficiency. Many times government has policies, they have goals, they have objectives. When the president speaks about something, when the president speaks about Taifa Care, then people on the ground say, but we don't see that. That is because the efficiency of implementation. So what the president says, or what the policy is, what the law has been passed in parliament, how is it implemented on the ground? So we were trying to improve that implementation efficiency. And number 3 is to create order.
Yeah.
That means that there is some, there is sector discipline, so that people are not doing as they wish, which was the norm before.
Thank you so much for that brief. Just you coming into office and ensuring that things are lining up, because you could have delved into why those bottlenecks were there, but that's a conversation for another day. So talking about implementation, SHA,
yes,
it's been a big, can I say, problem, especially for Kenyans when it comes to access and all that. I know you've already said how you've been able to ensure that the OTP is, something that they do not have to wait for long and all that. But there's still a lot of misunderstanding of what SHA, Taifa Care. What's the difference, Taifa Care and UHC? There's a lot of acronyms there. There's SHIF and all that. Maybe you could break down for us a little bit.
I know, and we take blame for that. There's quite a lot, and so the entire healthcare system, if you look at it, requires to be organized in a particular way. The way it is organized is what we call the UHC model. Okay. Now, our UHC model, the UHC is universal health coverage. Now, our universal health coverage, or the type of universal health coverage that we are doing, is what we are calling Taifa Care. Okay? Now, this Taifa Care, iko na miguu ine. It has 4 components. Miguu ine. Mguu ya kwanza ni how you buy healthcare, or how you can afford healthcare, or what we calling healthcare financing. So ukienda hospitali unahitaji kutibiwa, lakini hospitali wanakuambia lipa kwanza. So how do you purchase healthcare? Hiyo ndio mguu ya kwanza. Yes. Money for health.
Yes.
Mguu ya pili ni how you get treated. So ukienda hospitali lazima upate daktari, lazima upate nurse, lazima upate, huyo mwenye anakuhudumia, the health workforce. Hiyo ndio mguu ya pili. Mguu ya tatu ni saa ile umeenda hospitali lazima upewe dawa. lazima ufanye x-ray. Okay? Hiyo ndio mguu ya tatu. Tunaita hiyo commodity security. Lazima upate hiyo x-ray hapo, lazima upate ultrasound, lazima upate dawa. Commodity security. Mguu ya nne ambayo ni important sana ni how the information flows. Sisi kama watu ambao tuko hapa idara ya afya or in the Ministry of Health, how do you know that you went there? How do you know the medicine you were given? How do you know whether you got an x-ray? How do you know that how much money you paid or you asked to pay? So digitization. Okay. So digitization is supposed to give us all that data. Ndio Dr. Luga akienda kwa hospitali, tumejua Dr. Luga leo alienda hospitali, Dr. Luga leo aliambiwa alipe shilingi 500 ama amelipiwa shilingi 500 na SHA. Dr. Luga amepewa Panadol, Dr. Luga amefanya x-ray. Hiyo miguu nne. Health financing, human resource, health workforce, commodity security and digitization. Now, SHA just falls in one of them, the health financing. So the health financing is we want to make sure that everyone can go into a hospital, walk in and walk out without worrying whether they had money or not. Because ugonjwa haigongi hodi. Disease does not alert you that I'm coming tomorrow. It comes when it wants to come. So when you go to the facility, we want every single Kenyan to go into the facility without worrying how they will pay. Because you can't plan for a disease. That is why we have established the Social Health Authority. Now, the Social Health Authority is an organization. The Social Health Authority is the same as KRA, is the same as HELB. It's an organization.
Yes.
Okay? Now, under the Social Health Authority, we have the funds, yani pesa. Okay? So we have the fund for paying for you when you go to the smaller facilities. The smaller facilities are the dispensaries and the health centers and the sub-county hospitals. That's level 2, level 3, level 4. We call that primary health care fund. Under the Social Health Authority, we have another fund when you get an emergency. In the road, you are having an accident or somebody has collapsed, you have to rush them to the hospital, the nearest hospital that you can get. So any emergency, we have a fund for that. And also for people who get what we call critical illness, you get into ICU. Because again, these are diseases that you cannot choose where to go. Whether I collapse here today, you will rush me to any nearest hospital. So we want to make sure that when any Kenyan is rushed to the nearest hospital, they can be paid for. Okay, you are perhaps unconscious, we have a lot of road traffic accidents. So we have emergency, chronic, critical illness fund. That's the second fund.
Yeah.
Then the third fund is you are sick, but you're not very sick, or you go to a hospital, the doctor has told you, okay, we can plan to do your surgery next month. So we have the Social Health Insurance Fund.
Now that's the shift.
That's the shift. So we have the Primary Health Care Fund, we have the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, and then we have the Social Health Insurance Fund. Now, the Social Health Insurance Fund pays for things that are not primary care and they are not emergency or critical. There are things in between. You want a knee replacement. The doctor can tell you, oh, let's plan, we will do this surgery next month or next year. You have this problem, this your surgery is not an emergency, we can plan for it next year or this month. I have some growth here that has been, it's not painful, it's not disturbing me much, we can plan the surgery. So that is the Social Health Insurance Fund. Now, the first two funds, the Primary Health Care Fund and the Emergency Chronic Critical Illness Fund, those ones are government paid funds. Because we don't want anyone to be discriminated. When you get an emergency, you go into a facility, unatibiwa. Anyone, whether you are a president or you are Oluga or you are a Mama Mboga, anyone, any Kenyan, is safe. That fund has been, we have 8 billion that the government has given us through parliament allocated just to pay for that fund. And soon you will see it will even be paying for ambulances. But we have to establish that ambulance system. Now, the primary health care fund, that is why the president said you walk in and you walk out of any dispensary, health center, and level 4 sub-county hospital. Because it pays for it. All the primary health care problems, that is the small problems. I have a small headache here, it's not an emergency, you have a homa. All public facilities, all private facilities, all faith-based facilities are level 2 and level 3. None should charge you. Now, at level 4, it is the public facilities, the outpatient, that now you don't pay. But if you go to a level 4 private, a level 4 faith-based, we still don't pay them with the primary health care fund. So we level 2, level 3. All hospitals, irrespective of whether it's a private or a
public.
Or a public.
Dr. Luga,
and we have 13 billion for that.
For that.
That has been given.
There is an issue with SHIF that I've had a lot of people.
Yes.
NHIF, you needed to only pray for 3 months, and then you'll be able to access the services. Maybe you could clarify, because it's something I've had people complain about. You're supposed to pay upfront of a year, or what is happening?
So the Social Health Insurance Fund is the one that is contributory. Contributory means that we want you to pay something. So the government has put 21 billion. So we want you to meet us halfway, because we require 550 billion in this country so that we can make sure everyone is okay.
But paying it upfront for a common Kenyan.
Yes, so I'm coming to that. So this 550 billion, the insurances, the government budget, the county budget, if you add all of it, it comes around 300 billion. So that means that there's still a 250 billion gap. So we are trying to make everyone to meet us halfway. So how do people meet us halfway? If you are employed, the employer deducts. If you are not employed, but you have some income, we want you to contribute a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. That a little bit is determined by your status. The person who is selling tomatoes is very different from the boda rider. The boda rider may be getting like 1,000 or 500 shillings every day. Okay? The person selling tomatoes may be getting 1,000 shillings every week. So they are very different. So we cannot just say the way NHIF said, all of us, everyone, 500 shillings. There are people who cannot afford 500 shillings. So we have to do a test. We have to try and measure, okay, what is your level of income? Okay, that's what we call means testing.
Means testing, yeah.
And it is a very simple thing. I know it has been complicated, but it's a very simple thing. It just asks you a set of very simple questions that you can answer. And if you are truthful, it just tells you, okay,
this is the amount of money.
This is the amount of money you're supposed to pay. And I know I'm still coming to your question about whether you can pay it per year or not.
Yes.
Now, if you are employed, your employer has already given us the assurance because your employer is your agent.
Yes.
So your agent has already undertaken what we call undertaking.
Yeah.
So it has already undertaken that I will pay for Dr. Luga. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if you are not employed, we need somebody to undertake. Okay? Because the problem we had with NHIF, which is again the problem we have had in the last 1 year of implementing a social health insurance fund, somebody goes to a hospital today because there's no more waiting time. You go to a hospital today, you pay 500 shillings, you get a surgery of 300,000, and then they no longer pay.
Yeah.
So now this 300,000 that the hospital needs to be paid because you got a surgery needs to come from somewhere. Now this somewhere means many of us should be contributing. It's just the same as Harambe. I am sick today. I want to go to the hospital. My bill is 200,000. I have called my villagers to do an Harambe for me. Okay? Now the Harambe we have is the Social Health Insurance Fund. Okay? So now if we allow people that you pay 500 shillings, you consume a service of 200,000, it means that we will not be able to pay the hospital. Because somebody has only paid 500 shillings, but they want to consume 200,000, and then we are not even sure that they will pay next month.
Okay, so that's the reason as
So
to
that
why.
is the reason. That is why it is in law. Actually, the MPs passed it 1 year ago in October 2023, what we call the Social Health Insurance Act. It is there, Section 35,
okay,
about that. But now, for the common citizen, we understand that the income may be irregular. We also understand that this income, apart from being irregular, may be little. Okay? So what we have done is to give options. That is the undertaking. The undertaking means that somebody who can stand in for you to say that, I am sure Dr. Luga can pay 500 shillings every month. So what is that option? That option is what we call Lipa Sha Pole Pole.
Okay.
So now you dial *147#, you go to number 3, Lipa Pole Pole. It takes you through. I know people have been saying that, oh, you know, this is linked to Hustler Fund. Yes, it is linked to Hustler Fund. But there is no, it's not a loan. There is no interest, there is no cost. Hata ile cost ya M-Pesa, unajua ukituma M-Pesa 100 shillings, kuna 11 bob hapo katikati. Hii hata haina hiyo 11 bob. Hiyo 11 bob serikali imechukua. Imesema sisi kama Wakenya, kama unaweza lipa kidogo, lakini hauna hiyo pesa saa hizo, unaingia, unabonyeza *147#, unaenda kwa option ya 3, unaingia, unalipa ile pesa kidogo uko nayo, ambayo ni miezi 4. Vile unasema hiyo NHIF watu walikuwa nalipa miezi 3. Sasa sisi tumesema usingoje kupata matibabu, kwa sababu hiyo NHIF ulikuwa unangoja miezi 3. Hiyo miezi 3 umebleed, hata mtu amekufa, kansa imeenea. Sisi tumesema usingoje, unalipa hiyo miezi 4. Unalipa hiyo miezi 4, alafu unapewa nafasi ya kulipa hizo zingine miezi 8 pole. Lakini kuna mtu amekusimamia.
Okay.
Hiyo tu, hakuna shida kubwa hapo.
Okay, I think there was that confusion and people are like, okay, if it's supposed to be for the hustler, you know, 300 shillings, the minimum. But then if you say in 1 year, you know, in just 10 months, it's about 3,000. In a year, it's you know, 600. So that, I think that is where the confusion was. But even talking about that, you know, government employees, or at least employees, for those people who are, you know, are employed. So some of them actually, can I say most of them pay twice, at least. Then you can have a private cover, and then you're still being deducted your, you know, SHA. You still have to pay that.
The shift,
you and the employer. But again, government institutions have been known to be the, can I say, the biggest defaulters in terms
Actually,
of
now they are
relating.
the most compliant.
Now they're most compliant. But we have people who still will go to hospital and not be able to use the shift.
Yes, for 2 reasons. One is that, you know, the way the Social Health Authority...
Dr. Luga, let me just cut you short. Let me go back to my colleague, that is Khalid Abdullahi, who is in the studio. Khalid Abdullahi, you could take it over from now, but we still continue with this interview. Definitely we'll be replaying it for you if at all you missed any part as from now, as we continue with Dr. Luga in this conversation. Just touching on matters health, and right now talking about SHA, which I'm sure many Kenyans are concerned about. So Khalid Abdullahi, take it over from us.
My name is Salim Vuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Republic of Kenya. Dear Kenya,